morning my fellow vloggers, here we are again, Monday morning. It's very frosty here. It's about 2 degrees here in London town, so everyone is busily scraping ice off their windscreens, trying to defrost themselves. The job of the day is going to be for the Primrose Hill job. Now I'm there tomorrow on site in Primrose Hill, so this is the tail end of the removals which is happening today. So everyone is turning up around 9 o'clock. It is now roughly 7:45, something like that. And we are expecting the removal team to go off to 2 places. They're sort of doing a little bit of a shift around of some furniture, which will be interesting to see. And then after that, there is a collection of some furniture which has been sold. So I should be very glad to get that out of the apartment, clearing that away. The clients have been in over the weekend and collected what they needed to, ready for the builders to come in and do their strip out, which will be happening, I think, in a few days' time. Over the weekend, you would have seen on the last video the almost completion of the Chelsea job, or at least the completion of most of my bits, apart from the odd thing that still needs to be done, which still needs to be discussed when the clients want to discuss it, which are things like curtains. I have also heard from the Reading jobs, there's a few issues going on there. I think issues generally between the, as far as I'm aware, the husband and the wife, the client, who were just having a dispute about what they would prefer in the sitting room with the joinery. So I need to speak to the joiner and anybody else that's involved. But I'm over there on Wednesday anyway, so hopefully I can sort things out then if I don't get them sorted today. Depends. The other thing which I have to do today is make a couple of calls, one to the bathroom and kitchen designer who I work with, and the other is to the builder. The reason why I'm doing this is for the new client. Now, the new client is a particularly interesting job, which I think I've told you about already, but it needs some thought. So first things first, I need to speak to the builder to see what his availability is before I can relay this to the potential new client. It's best to actually get all these things sorted early on before you even speak to the client, so you can talk intelligently about timelines. It's one of the important things that clients want to know. Not only is it about cost, it's also about timing. But for now, we shall carry on, get on the tube, obviously get a hot chocolate on a cold day such as this, and we'll get going with the day. So here we are at the Primrose Hill job, part 64, or whatever we are now. So we've had removals going in and out, people have been collecting their furniture that has been sold. We've had lots of interesting things happening, getting things up the stairs, different sets of removal men coming in and out doing things, taking things apart, moving mattresses, taking apart beds, moving lots of different things up and down to the storage room down below the building. And now the removal team are putting everything together in the van and they're off to the next job. I've been having conversations with other different people about different aspects to do with this job. There is another property, and because we're moving one sofa from one place to another sofa is coming out and that has to go somewhere. Ideally it needs to be reupholstered, and in order to do that, it needs to go somewhere, either off to the upholsterers if they've got room, and if they haven't, it'll have to go to another property and just be on standby. So that's what I'm going to be dealing with next. In the midst of all of this removals job, various other different things happened. So the keys that were left for me for the storage room down below were the wrong keys, so the client had to come by and give me the right key. Other different things, van collection people turned up late, so we've had a bit of a problem there. But apart from that, everything is now packed and ready to go, so it's off to the next property. The clients that I'm doing work for here, which is the Primrose Hill job, have another property that I quickly did a very quick cosmetic renovation did a few years ago. That property's been rented out, and that now is up for rental again. But it has some old furniture in it from the old tenants, which should have been collected, which hasn't. So I think I'm going to have to get rid of that. But it also means that that property, once that's empty, has possibly got room for a few other bits. And I'm wondering whether things like this cabinet here and things like the coffee table here could actually be made use of. So I'm going to actually have a conversation with the clients and see very much whether they want me to move this stuff over, because I think it could be put to good use. They won't get the prices they want for it on the open market, as it were, despite it being very expensive stuff in the first place. Let's see what they have to say. My final visit for this place should be tomorrow, and the reason why it should be tomorrow is because that's when I have the handyman, the lovely Ernest, will be with me, and he'll be just collecting a few things which he needs to collect, some of his tools that he left here, and then we'll be going off to the Primrose Hill job to do a few things there, putting together some furniture, hanging some pictures, that type of thing. Classic handyman stuff. Here we are again. So that was the removals done. It is now probably something like about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I've not eaten all day. This is sometimes what it's like on removals. Lots of things have been moving around, lots of discussions and arguments, colourful arguments between clients about what they want to do with certain items of furniture, decisions, backtracking, all that type of stuff has been happening today. So it's all been a bit much, really. What this has meant has been that I've actually been on site for a number of hours. Lots of different things have happened. The clients are happy because they've got lots of things out of the way. People have picked up all the furniture that they needed to pick up. And something really quite random. One of the gentlemen who came to pick up the furniture has asked me whether I would be interested in more work. This is just one of the other interesting things that happens when you meet people and you're hopefully doing a good job. You get recommendations, sometimes on the spot, and sometimes work on the spot. The ability to come and quote for different jobs. So look out for that. It's always good when that happens. The other thing that has happened has been the removal team. They actually were due to be working with me for the morning, probably up until around about lunchtime, and then they would be headed off to another job. But my client wanted a few more things done. This was going to take a little bit more time, which the removal men didn't have. So what we've agreed to do is for them to split the time that we needed into two sections, really. One for today, which has been completed, and one for tomorrow. Now I do have, bizarrely, an afternoon off tomorrow. Not literally off on holiday, but I do actually have some time off, and I would normally do some paperwork and get down to other things, but I'm now probably going to be on site with the Primrose Hill and the St John's Wood job. So that is another full day for me. No time at my desk, I'm afraid, this week.